Good evening, everyone. Good evening. It's your girl, Angela Marie, and you are watching COVID-19 and Company Conversations from the epicenter across the globe. I'm so excited to be with you all again, once again, even though I'm used to Mondays. We got to get used to this Sunday thing, but we'll work it out. We'll get used to Sundays. I'm so glad all of you could join us, and I have some very special guests, some people close to my heart today, so I'm going to talk about them in a minute. I want to take a second to share right now this feed over to my regular Facebook page. And please feel free, if you're watching, please share the show, share with a friend, share with a loved one. We're here to encourage, uplift, and empower you on COVID-19 and company. And I was looking at the news, okay? And, I watch Governor Cuomo and see what's going on, what his update is for the day. So today, quick updates for New York. Today's hospitalizations for total COVID hospitalizations is about 2,535. There were over 190,000 people tested yesterday, and there were only about 2,849 positive. So that means our positivity rate is about 1.49. So that's really good. We've come way down. Sadly, there were 33 lives lost to coronavirus as of today, between yesterday and today. So my condolences to those families. Also, a lot of people are getting vaccinated. So I'm happy to hear that people are having good experiences more than the bad experiences. I heard, I think it was the Johnson & Johnson, they took it off the market, they put it back on. So they're doing this yo-yo thing right now with that one. But I just pray that everybody stays safe, whether you take the vaccine or don't take the vaccine. But I'm reading that 46.5% of New Yorkers have received at least one vaccine dose, and about 35% have completed their vaccine series. So we're moving forward. I read that Mayor de Blasio wants to go ahead and reopen New York officially as of July 1st, which is right around the corner. And I'm also hearing Governor Cuomo wants to make it sooner than that. So we're rocking and rolling, and the world is opening and getting back to a normal, as best of a normal as we know. So that's a great thing. I want to rant really quick, y'all, because I was in the city this weekend, and it was like really late at night. I'm downtown 34th Street, trying to figure out how to get home because, the subways are not 24 hours anymore since COVID. I am happy that they are pushing for 24-hour subway service again, because it is difficult for a girl in the street late at night in New York City and then not having option for public transportation. I had a heck of a time getting home. But anyway, on 34th Street, there's this food truck, and they've been around forever. It's like on this corner right across from this pizza place, right? So I was like, I need food. I'm traveling. I just need something to eat. That would not be my first choice, especially not the food truck and not the kind of stuff that they serve at the food truck. But when you're hungry, if you're that hungry, you eat. And so I was trying to get like a little jerk sandwich, whatever. This man, I don't know if it's me, like maybe I'm being, as my niece would say, cringy. I don't know. She's 14. So the word was cringy. But I'm watching the guy making the sandwich. So I ordered a sandwich and I'm watching the guy, and he's talking on the phone. So he's on his headset. He's talking on the phone and he's making a sandwich. He has no gloves. He has no mask. And I mean, I know we in New York, it's kind of like a lot of people don't wear the glove thing, but he's making my food and I'm watching him and he's talking and I'm just watching his lips. And it's like, he's like, yeah, baby, sweet nothings in her ear kind of talking. And he's not paying attention to anything what he's doing. And I'm thinking spit droplets are on my food. I'm sorry. Don't eat that. I couldn't eat that. I don't know. I understand we're reopening and we're getting lax, but
I would rather wait until I get home.
That's too lax for me, right? So I want y'all's comments. Please feel free to comment. Am I just being cringy, or is that too lax?
No, you're not. No,
didn't eat
you're
the
not.
sandwich. I bought the sandwich and I threw it away because I didn't even want. I was like, oh well, maybe I'll just give it to a homeless person. But then I was like, well, if I'm cringy about it,
Why should you give it to somebody else?
and
Exactly.
they might get sick. So no, I just threw it in the trash. Like, sorry, God, I
I
wasted.
was
I don't like to
no.
waste.
Did say you paid for the sandwich?
I paid for the sandwich and I walked away and I was just like, if something was like, don't eat that. So I was like, I can't eat it. So anyway, that's my rant. Okay, in the city, I just want everybody to be safe. Like, just think
I've
about.
been in the city and I've never.
Yes,
The only thing
sanitizer.
I think the only thing I buy from a food truck was those people who are always on the have that are roasting the nuts.
Yes.
I like that. I'll buy that. But I have a certain people who I buy it from.
Right,
Yeah.
particularly. I want to welcome my sister from a different mister to the show,
Hey.
Sasha Moore. Thank you so much for being with me today, Sasha.
It's my pleasure, girl. It's my
Like, I'm
pleasure.
so excited. Like, and we talk, but we haven't seen each other in a year now.
Oh God, yes.
When I first started the show, and I was like I called up Sasha. I'm like, Sasha, I think I'm supposed to do a broadcast. Would you come on live with me? And she's like, of course, sis. And that was how it all started. So Sasha, and then we Drew from India, and we had from Burkina Faso. And I'm hoping that they're going to join us also today on the show. So they've been invited. I'm looking forward to them dropping in. But it is the anniversary of COVID-19 and company. I'm a little late because technically last week would have been the true anniversary. However, we're here. It's the anniversary. I had to delay the show a couple weeks because of work and everything. I'm back to work. Are you guys back to work? I'm wondering. Leave me some comments, but I wanted to come back and get this update a year later from the people that first came on with me when we first found out about the coronavirus and we were all put on lockdown and we were comparing notes and all, we were all in different countries. Some people in the same country, but I'm like, I'm watching the news, I'm seeing the craziness. Some places things are good, some places things are getting worse. The vaccine is the big talk. So I just wanted to come together and talk to each of my friends that helped me start this broadcast about your respective countries. I want to get that whole man on the street perspective of what the current situation is in your country. I know you, Sasha, you've had some major changes. So we'll talk about that transition a little bit. That's the main thing that I wanted to just bring you guys back and see what's going on. So Sasha, how are you and your family amidst this whole COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, it was mixed emotions for me. You know, I just lost my mom, and been hearing about this COVID. Everybody talking about COVID. I was in New York when I heard about it first, and then I left New York, went to my home country, which is Jamaica. Mm-hmm. And when I was there staying, I heard about the first case. It was very frightening. It was a frightening experience. Yeah. It was, you're questioning, what is this? What is COVID? What caused this? You're hearing this, you're hearing that. It was confusing at first. Mm-hmm. It was an experience in terms of being restricted when you could go somewhere and having that freedom taken away from you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Psychologically, it was hard to deal with at first because it's like, boom, you wake up to this new change. Right. You know what I mean? And the only thing I could do to stay sane at the time, because I was still struggling with accepting the death of my mom, was to pray. Yes. But even though you're praying, you still had a lot of questions. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And it seems like, I couldn't wrap my head around it. It doesn't matter how many researches you could have done.
Mhm.
The only thing that could have come to my mind is that signs of the time are here, and we
Yes.
have to just learn to live with it. And if you are somebody of faith, then you'll have to go deeper in faith, because your physical mind or body cannot deal with all the changes that is taking place. It would be,
Right.
let's say for instance, it would be easy for you to get up and go to the store whenever you feel like to do. You weren't
Right.
able to do that no more. In my country, there were times where you couldn't just leave your house, or you'd be arrested, or
Yeah.
so that alone was like you're being in captive, you're being restricted. All of that was, it was a lot. It was really a lot. And I
Yes.
know that this thing has really affected a lot of people in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I didn't lost my mom through COVID, but I can just imagine how people feel who have lost family members to it.
Right.
And I still have questions, but I know that God is real, and He has sustained me, and He has sustained my family,
Mm-hmm.
through the process.
Yes. Praise
Yeah,
God.
and for that I'm really grateful. And my heart really goes out to people who have had the experience of being affected, not only physically having your freedom taken away, but actually getting affected by the virus.
Yes. So
Yeah.
you have not had the virus, correct?
I have not. Thank
Yes.
be to the Lord. I have not.
Yes.
But it had really taught me some lessons too. Some simple things we take for granted.
Yes.
Some very simple things we really we take it for granted. And it has really, really, it has given me a wake up call
Mm-hmm.
to not complain, to not
Yes.
worry. I mean, it has really, really changed my life in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Yeah. Things
Yes.
you think you could not live without, you learn to do without them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you
Like,
never
sometimes
imagined.
you're making dinner in your house, you're out of salt.
Yes.
You could just go across the street and get salt. Now that's done with. Like,
Right.
okay, learn to eat your food without salt. Use regular seasoning. You learn to improvise.
That's it.
So,
Lots of
you know,
changes.
yeah.
How are things in Jamaica now?
Well, there's still curfew going on where you have a certain time. Like on weekends, business places are open until noon.
Mm-hmm.
And on public holiday, persons or you're not able to leave your home at all.
Wow.
Businesses are closed.
Hmm.
Schools are still closed. It's still online.
Yes.
And I think they're gonna change the time right now from having everybody going home in noonday. They're taking their time to start with the business places to actually close in the evening times, and redeveloping. But the COVID rate has been very low,
Mm-hmm.
and it's being managed by the government because of how serious they really take it. And they have improvised, they have go above and beyond in
Yes.
terms of not having people leaving their house, and restriction, like physical contacts and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. Food
Wow.
drive has been going on. So if you can't leave your house and there's a food drive in your neighborhood, you could actually get something from that truck, and that's it. Yeah, but it's been really strict.
So still very
And if
restricted.
you don't wear a mask, you're charged and you're arrested.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
interesting. Do you know if tourists are going in yet?
They are, but it's also restricted.
Okay.
It's
Probably
a
more.
certain amount for each hotel. Like it's a certain amount that is allowed to be in the hotels. All the rooms are not full.
Right.
Yeah.
Social distancing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because I haven't seen people going there. I know a
And
lot of
even the beaches and the rivers are closed, which
really.
never ever happened.
Wow.
Yeah, which
That's
never
something.
happened.
Even, like even now, and I guess they're doing something right though, because the numbers have remained low. Even
Yeah.
if, of like while it was the epicenter in New York and our numbers were extremely high,
Wow.
Jamaica just got its first case, and we've lost thousands of people by that time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so something's working.
Yeah, but it's hard for the people there because it's a small island and they're not really used to it. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Right now, the government is paying a lot more attention to the mental institutions
Okay,
and
good.
trying to develop mental awareness
Mm-hmm.
because it's been affecting so many people.
Yes.
And I'm currently working along with somebody else to have basic supplies like toiletries, you name it, sanitizers, soap,
Okay.
at these institutions to
Mm-hmm.
help so they can understand the whole concept of it, because even
Right.
though these people are mentally affected, they're used to having their own freedom. They're used to going to the beach if they wanna. They're
Right.
used to go pick a coconut water if they wanna, and now they're getting arrested for it. So it
Man.
spiked up the range
Mm-hmm.
of mentally disturbed people who have just lost it, because this is the first it's really taking place in their life. They've never experienced anything like this, and it's affecting the young, the old, the middle age. You
Mm-hmm.
know, yeah.
Wow.
So it has some good to it, and it has some bad to it, because it's an island where I would say it's like New York. They really don't sleep. There's
Right.
always something going on. There's always an event, there's always noise, and now it's just a quiet, sad, scary place.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's something because the psychological effects are very real,
Oh
and
my God.
we constantly think about the physical effects and not being physically ill, but I think a lot of times we miss the psychological effects and how that.
Mhm.
And I know that it even hit me for a while, and I had to say, wait a minute,
Yeah.
I'm God's daughter.
Yeah.
This can't be happening to me. We need to turn around, and get in a place of prayer and oneness,
Yeah.
because like the Bible says, the joy of the Lord is my strength. So when I lack joy, I'm weak.
Hmm.
I have to remember that when I feel like I'm lacking joy, I have to get to a place of praise and worship and prayer so that that joy can be restored, because that's what keeps me strong, what keeps me going. Because
Yeah.
it's easy to just say, okay, well, I give up. And looking at the situation as it's been, it's like we've overcome a lot. And I thank God for protecting us and bringing us.
Yeah.
Everybody who's watching, I thank God for you and for your lives, because it's not by accident that you're still here.
That's right.
It's in a plan for all of us. So
That's
I
right.
think that we should never take that for granted. Um,
Hmm.
but we do have to do the necessary things to keep our mental health stable and
Yeah.
be mindful, because it slips so quickly.
Hmm.
We have to be mindful that we need to actively do things that we enjoy and have check-ins, mental check-ins, check in with your family and your friends,
Yeah. Talk to somebody.
because
Talk to somebody.
you're slipping, and when you're alone, it makes it even
Yep.
bigger, you know?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so those are
I
those.
have come a long way with talking about the pain I feel or how I feel.
Yes,
I remember it was like hard to put it in words. I
right.
think I've learned I never used to pay any mind. I
Hmm.
used to just cry and then forget about it.
Right.
But because of losing a loved one and COVID and you being by yourself, you
Hmm.
get to realize it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to hurt.
Yeah.
It's okay to also acknowledge your hurt. and pray about your hurts. Because a lot of times we're so consumed by everybody else around us. And when it comes down to how we feel, it's like it's shoved under the rug. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think this time of COVID, where you get a time to spend alone in a quiet place alone, it really helps you to reflect, to renew, to reassure yourself. Because a lot of time we depend on people to reassure us. And this was a time when we had to be reassuring ourselves and our families and close friends. You know what I mean? So again, I would say it also helps you to acknowledge some good qualities, some hidden qualities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some things that it was there, but you didn't pay any attention to it. And it come alive because of, where you're currently at in life.
Yes.
And I think that was one of my life lessons for me, where I don't just shove things under the rug. I try to face it, pray about it, and then praise my way through it, and that helps me to heal. That helps me to heal. So I won't hurt anybody else. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's funny is just what came to my mind as you were saying that is how it's important to think outside of the box when you're in restriction. Because being in restriction, you can just feel like, okay, I'm in the box and I don't know what to do, or I don't know how to handle this. And it can bring you down, and you can sit in the box and be in darkness, or you can start to think outside of the box. Like, okay, I don't want to stay in this box. So even though I'm restricted, what are some other things I can do that maybe I can't do this thing that I want to do, but you can find freedom.
Yeah.
Restriction if you think outside of the box. I think just one thing, like, because I know you work in healthcare, but I also know that you do things in the beauty industry. You have several things that you do, like the beautiful wigs that you make, right? So in a time where you're in restriction, that's a type of a creative thing that you do.
Yeah. That was a
busy.
roller coaster.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was a roller coaster.
So tell us
The
about
thing
that.
is, okay, that was a battle for me, because I was back home, and I'm not registered into a hospital there like I'm here.
Yeah.
And I go back to my beauty business and my other freelance business that I was doing with TLC and stuff like that.
Right.
But my problem was the shipment.
Yeah.
So both business deal with shipment. To source my hair, it has to be shipped to the island. To get my products, it had to be shipped to the island. And because of COVID, there was a lot of restriction there. So I had to think of something else to do.
Right.
What I thought of was I started volunteering at the schools. Since kids weren't able to go to school anymore, and they had to get like iPads and computer, internet access, I developed a group to target the network companies to help them to get internet and Wi-Fi access.
Wow.
So, which that really turned my energy very, very good. Yeah. So I was no longer focusing on my income. My income would come to me because person would see how helpful I am, and they would favor me to say, "Oh my God, my daughter or my son or my child needed this. Thank you so much. God told me to give you this." And that was another way where I've seen the hand of God in my life. Yeah. Because if I was not able to give up what I needed and what I love and focus on somebody else's need, probably I wouldn't have survived. You know what I mean? Because my resources have now been cut off in terms of having my shipments to me, having my supplies for hair products when I need them to me.
Yes.
And I had to think of different ways. And I also started selling food.
Because the girl
I was doing, yeah, I was doing like for the persons who were going around and like helping the elderly and cleaning the streets and getting the people who were homeless on the street. I would cook for those people. And this was out of my own pocket, out of my own cupboard. And I'm like, okay, why would I have, food for me and not know if, so I started to think out of the box, as you stated. And that really, really helped me a whole lot. Couple days afterwards, I got a call about a job here. I'm like, look at God,
Wow.
so just for coming out of my comfort zone, what I would want to happen to me and start doing it to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
That was a transition for me. It was challenging, girl. I cried. I cried because you plan. I've made plans. I don't only have one business, but two.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was going in the right direction, but still was affected because of the shipment that takes place around the world.
Wow.
And the major place, which people wish not, some people does not admit it, China. Most things people really do need from China,
Right.
and that was shut off, that was cut off. And I improvised. I started to do even persons who didn't want wigs to be done. I started doing natural hair, cornrows and treatments, because natural hair needs to be treated as well. And I had that certificate for so long and I wasn't even using it. So I started using it in terms of treating natural hair on the weekends. And that really helped me to provide, to pay my bills, to help my family.
Wow.
And, even though we were social distancing, I could only take like 5 clients per day. I could not have more than that in the room because that was a restriction. They would have charged me for that. Yeah. So every person is done within like 2.5 hours to an hour and a half based on the style. If I don't have the shampoo and I just have to cornrow, that's like an hour and a half, sometimes 45 minutes based on whatever style it was. And that really helped me to not really put my head in the box, but out of the box.
Yeah.
That was de-stressing too. Seeing other faces, talking to other people about their experience and how it feels. Yeah.
I love, you're so multi-talented. And I mean, I think it's just key what you said, like you had that certificate for so long, but
and I wasn't using it.
So you weren't using it, just like, and that's similar to me doing the broadcast because my, but I've been working in customer service for, like forever.
Yeah.
And it was like, I didn't have time to do the media stuff, but this, what I learned through the pandemic is by doing this, that truly, it brought me back to what I love.
Yeah.
So now I'm back to work and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do the thing I love anymore.
Yeah.
And it's causing a conflict.
Yep. Yep.
Yes. So
yep.
It's like there's.
Yeah, I have been thinking the same way because I even just by doing the natural hair, I have come up with ways of making my own personal hydrating treatment, deep treatment, shampoos. And because of work, I have not been able to spend in more time to think about packaging, to think about how am I going to test it, to think about, because now you're busy taking care of other things,
Right.
And I was even talking to the Lord about it today. And I'm like, you want to go where you feel you need to be.
Right.
Yes, we need the money. Yes, we have the bills to pay. But you want to go to where your calling is and what you're passionate about. And sometimes it's a limbo because your job and not being not having enough resources to keep your own business going.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. So it's like it's a lot of transition. And I'm thinking about that because I know you made a big transition.
Yeah.
Something else about Jamaica before we talk about transitioning. Has the vaccine been offered in Jamaica?
Yep. Yep.
Are people
Yeah,
taking
a
it?
couple
Are
of
they
my a couple of my friends who are in journalism, they have taken it. Healthcare workers, like my friends who are doctors and nurses, they have taken it. I think they're now giving it to teachers,
Okay.
government workers. So it's being issued. It's
Okay.
being issued, and people are taking it. And you know, you will still have people who refuse to take it.
Right. Because I would
Yeah,
think numbers were so low. I would think that a lot of people wouldn't want to take it because it's like
they don't. A lot of
problem.
people will never take it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people will never take it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So that I thought that was interesting because also when I spoke a few weeks ago, I spoke with the Secretary of State from Delta State in Nigeria, and she was telling us that the affluent people were taking the vaccine, but the less affluent people were not. And but she was like, "But we'll get them," and I was like, "But your numbers are low. Like you don't really have a huge problem with COVID, so
No.
why do they need to take the vaccine?" You know, it's
Yeah.
all preference, but that's just my way of thinking. Have you
Mm-hmm.
taken the vaccine?
Huh?
Have you taken it?
Yeah, I have. I
Okay,
have. I've
good.
had to because my job in the hospital was so crazy, and
As an essential worker.
yeah,
Yeah. So
it
did
was very, very, very crazy. I would come home and saying I'm not going back to work tomorrow. You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
of the experience with
Mhm.
really, really seeing people actually dying from this situation right before your eyes. It's a different experience when you hear about it, and it's a
Mhm.
different experience when you actually see it. You know?
Yes. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So you everything went well with you with the vaccine though, because I've heard a lot of horror.
Yeah. I never had. I only felt sleepy, and
Mhm.
I think a friend of mine told me that that's what happened to her. She said she was so sleepy, she just slept.
Okay.
And I think that's the same thing that happened to me. I slept most of the time,
Okay.
and I want to encourage persons who are thinking of taking the vaccine also. If you have underlying issues, and
Mhm.
if you have so many medications that you're on, I would not recommend anyone to take it. If you have medications that you're on, and you have, like, if you've done a surgery in the last month, don't just go take a vaccine like that, because I think a lot of people are being misled with taking the vaccine, and
Yeah.
there's not too much education given out there. I don't believe the vaccine is the solution to the problem. Honestly, I don't.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that it's just going to automatically stop everything that's happening. No.
Right.
It's designed for us to think that way,
It is.
but I do not believe that.
And there's different strands of the virus.
Exactly. What I do believe, though, is that through wisdom from God, Jesus Christ, or Savior,
Mhm.
and taking special precaution in following, because even the Bible tells us to follow the rules of the land.
Mhm.
But I'm not making the vaccine my God. It's not my God. It's not my Savior. It's
Right.
not going to automatically heal my body. So, I won't be affected from this virus or anything like that. And I think that's something that a lot of people is getting wrong in their mind, to say, oh, it's the solution, or it will do this. And then they go take it, and not thinking about, oh, I'm already on this medication, or I'm already on this medication. And then
Right.
boom, couple days, they die from it.
Side effects that yeah, people are dying
So
and
many side effects. Yeah. So
yeah,
if you're gonna take
wisdom.
it, make sure I'm not saying to take this whole vitamin, but I went on a whole bunch of greens because I want to make sure my blood was clean. And I wanted to make sure I had a lot of water. Because this is going through your veins, and I don't think a lot of people understand the process of a vaccine. And this has been happening to us from we were kids. Because whenever a newborn at a certain time, they have to be vaccinated, right? So when you're taking a vaccine, you still need that newborn needs the nutrition from their mom's breast, which is the breast milk, to fight antibodies, to destroy whatever is out there. I think it's the same thing people need to do in terms of, don't go drink up a bunch of alcohol and go take a vaccine. That does not make any sense. Where is the defense mechanism going to be when you have all that stuff in your body? The vaccine is not going to save you. It's going to kill you. You know, so I just wanted to throw that out there.
Got you. I appreciate that. I wanted to pause for a moment to say hello to Mr. Sorobis. Squad.
Hello there.
And he's in Burkina Faso.
How are you?
Hey.
Good.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. I see you made it.
Yeah.
You are making it. Awesome.
So welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Better known as Mr. Sorobis. Do you like my shirt?
I see you wearing a Sorobis shirt.
I'm rocking a Sorobis shirt, you know.
I see.
I miss you guys. So happy that you could join us again.
Okay.
I can't believe it's been a year. It's the anniversary.
I know, right?
Oh my word.
1 year ago, we spoke about what's going on in Burkina Faso as far as the COVID pandemic. But I want to first ask you, how are you and your family doing amidst the pandemic after 1 year?
We've all been doing great so far. We thank God. You know, we've been doing the basic things, the right things. You know, following instructions and all the good things that you've heard about. And so far, so good. So far, so good. Really, we've come a long way.
I mean, I'm watching videos and I'm seeing photos, and I'm jealous because I'm like, you know, fashion is living large over there in Burkina Faso and Ivory Coast. I'm seeing that there's a lot of movement going on, and over here, I'm like, what?
I know. Yes, listen, to be honest with you all, I thought the pandemic was going to be a curse. That with the pandemic, we had to think about new ways of doing things. So last September, we first had a virtual show, a virtual fashion show. And after we did a virtual fashion show, we thought about documenting all the pictures and the amazing fashions we had. So we thought about just creating a fashion magazine, and it's the first fashion magazine we've ever created in Burkina Faso. You know, fashion and tourism magazine. And to think of the fact that COVID got me stranded here in Africa, and I was looking for ways to turn things around, and all those ideas just germinated and it came up. And now when I look back, I'm like, wow, we've been able to do all of this. You know, COVID has been it's not a curse. I wouldn't say it was a curse.
It was a blessing.
Yeah, it was a blessing to me. And it kept me busy for the whole year. Girls, I have been busy for the whole years, just traveling the country, traveling Africa, getting pictures and this and that and making things happen. Yet still respecting the restrictions and everything, you know, because you can't go to a neighboring country without doing the test and making sure that you're not going to contaminate anybody or get contaminated over there, because you have to fly in and fly out. So, you know, I'm thrilled. Seriously, I'm thrilled. I'm very sad for those who lost their lives and everything. And we thought it was going to be a catastrophe in Africa. You know, thank God it hasn't been what people thought it was going to be. You know, people are still running around and handling their businesses and taking care of their everyday lives and everything, yet respecting the restrictions. So
Yeah.
it's been a great time. It's really, really been a great time. And God is good. God has been
Yeah.
wonderful. He's been amazing. He's been everlasting. He's been an everlasting God.
Yes,
Amen.
that is so awesome. So you didn't get
Yes.
the virus, correct?
I'm sorry.
You never contracted the virus.
Thank God I never did.
Because I know you've been moving, and I was
I
like, "There's
know, right?
no mask."
you know,
How?
and the heat. We have a lot of heat here. I don't know if that helps. The sun is like so high. The temperatures are very high. So you really
Right,
don't have time to get cold, seriously. And if that helps at all, it did help us out one way or the other. And
right.
I've been hearing people saying that whenever you live in places where it's very hot, it helps out. If that's the case, yes, it was. And like I said, a lot of people thought it was going to be a catastrophe in
Mhm.
West Africa, mainly in Burkina Faso, ranking among some of the most the less privileged countries in the world. So we all were like, oh my God, how are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? How are we gonna make it happen? But
Right.
thank God we have been spared. Seriously,
Yes.
you
And
know.
see, I haven't been to Burkina, but I've been to Abidjan. I've been to Ivory Coast many times.
Yeah,
But when I thought
yeah.
about people in the marketplace, like how marketplace is just so flooded and crowded with people,
Mm-hmm.
I really thought that we were going to see high numbers in Africa. But
Yeah, yeah.
so that's a blessing.
It
Uh,
is
Yeah.
a blessing. It is a blessing.
so
Not to say that people are not following instruction. They are following instruction.
okay,
They wash their hands, they wear the face mask, and they keep distances from one another.
Mhm.
People are doing what they can, and thank God it's working out. It is working
That's
out.
good.
You know.
That's awesome. So those are the main restrictions in the country. Are they doing like any other restrictions? Like you were talking last year about how they had the curfews and stuff like that. Have they stopped all of that?
Yeah, that has been stopped for like 10 months ago or so.
Okay.
I think it lasted only 3 months, 3, 4 months, and that was it. And right after that, everything picked back up, and people were taking care of the businesses. And we used not to have crowd, but for the past 6, 7 months, people have been getting together. That's how we're able to have a couple of fashion shows. But even though we were having crowd, we still try to like distance, keep the distance from one another, you know.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, everything is okay. At times we're like, okay, we think things are getting back together, life is normal, but people still have their face mask. You still have to wear your face mask or keep it handy in case you may need it. But yeah, it's all going well.
That is awesome. So are they offering the vaccine in your country?
I haven't seen for the other parts of the world, I'm not talking about the Western countries, like places in Africa, some like the World Health Organization and some other donors like the US have been putting hands together to help underprivileged countries to get the vaccine. But
Mhm.
I'm not sure I've seen anything in Burkina yet. I know it's going on in Ivory Coast, in Abidjan it's going on, and people are being offered, to get vaccinated and all of that. But in Burkina, I don't think I've heard of anything yet, even
Okay.
though the minds are like divided. Some people are for the vaccine, some other people are not. Personally, I am for the vaccine. I am for the vaccine. I think it's still gonna help. And the proof is it's in what's going on in the US right now. With the vaccine, things are getting better. So it's a reason for everybody to get vaccinated. And Europe is beginning to get better as well. So yeah, I'm for the vaccine. And if I'm offered an opportunity, I think I will do it. Or I'll just wait until I get back home there and take care of my vaccine.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So I've seen you're doing some big things. And for those that don't know, he's the founder of Sorobis USA. He's a fashion designer extraordinaire. He works with top of the top in Burkina Faso and across the world, really. So I'm wondering, do you have? I think shows that you all have been doing. You have any other shows planned? What's coming up?
Yeah, well, for the moment, because we just came out with the first fashion and tourism catalog of Burkina Faso. We've never had a fashion catalog here, and this took me over 10 months to get it done. So it is huge, and we work with more than 25 designers on this catalog. And we went to different places, touristic places across the country, and we shot some pictures and all of that. So it was a lot of work. So for right now, I'm working on promoting the catalog, getting people to get used to it. And what it is this catalog is going to be like a mirror of Burkina Faso overseas. So we want a lot of people overseas who've never heard of Burkina Faso, not never heard about the fashions in Burkina or the touristic places in Burkina to get a hold of this catalog so they can have an idea what's going on in Burkina Faso. When a lot of the time when people talk about Burkina Faso, it's only the bad aspects, like it's one of the underprivileged countries in the world. There's some terrorism going on and all of that. Like with the catalog, we're getting another view of Burkina Faso out there. It's the glamorous view. It's everything about beauty, beautifulness. So I'm very, very thrilled. Like I said, the pandemic was not a curse. It was not a curse. It was a blessing to me and the people that work with me. So this is tremendous. So after we finish promoting the catalog, then I think in the next 3 or 4 months, I'll come up with the other projects.
Okay, but what's the catalog called?
The catalog is in French. It's called Le Premier Catalogue de Mode et de Tourisme du Burkina Faso, meaning the first fashion and tourism catalog of Burkina Faso. It doesn't have a specific name because it was the first time. We just wanted a catalog to embody the whole country. That's why we didn't want to name it. Maybe some catalog we come down the road with different names, but this is like an honor, an homage to the country. That's what we do, and it's so beautiful. Unfortunately, I don't have it here with me. I'm inside my room right now. If everything's in the office, I would have shown you a couple of pages and stuff. Yeah.
Got you. How can we find it though? How can we get it?
Okay. We are sending the US batch maybe in the next 10 days or so. Okay. But there are some few people in the US and New York mainly who has it already. But in the next 10 days, we'll send out the US batch. Now, for those who are in West Africa, mainly Ouagadougou and Abidjan, you can get it in most of the bookstores in Ouagadougou and in Abidjan as well. Yeah. And what we're doing, what the government is doing, because it's just such a great product, they have vowed to put it out there in all embassies of Burkina Faso across the world, so foreigners can get a hold of it and have another view of Burkina Faso. And this is amazing. So, sister, you may sit in the Caribbean, somewhere in the Caribbean, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I'm doing is when I get back to New York sometime before next month, I'm doing a launching party in New York for the catalog because it's really, really big. And I think we have to change our own stories, as Africans, Black people. And like I said, this is a major thing in Burkina Faso. They've never had anything like this before.
Wow.
They have been talked about for the lack of means, for the poverty, for the civil wars and blah, blah, blah.
Negative things.
Negative things. This is the first time we're going to see something really different and very positive. So we are going to celebrate that in New York as well.
That's awesome. I'm so excited to
hear
this.
That is awesome.
I need to get my hands on this catalog.
Is it anywhere online?
Because like I said, again, because of the first time, and a lot of people here in Africa, remember we're still in Africa, they don't do a lot of things online,
Okay.
There's the joy behind it, the fact of being able to just hold it in your hand and say, oh, this is my beautiful country. This is my beautiful fashion. This is my beautiful people. That fact alone was so thrilling to people that we don't even want to think about an online version right now. We want everybody to hold it in his hand and just enjoy it, But the online version is coming. By the time we get to the second number, the online version is going to be there.
That's awesome.
Is there a way to order the physical copy though online?
Again, it's being put into place. that if you go online on fashion on Facebook, there is a page called Fashion Alive, Soirée Fashion Alive. Yeah.
That's the
If you put a message there on Fashion Alive and send us your address, we will send it to you wherever you are in the world. Because we do have a link with DHL, which is like FedEx in the US, DHL, and
okay.
they will send it anywhere in the world for us. So just go to Facebook and click on Soirée Fashion Alive Burkina Faso and put a word there, and then we'll ship it anywhere in the world for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna get that information from you, like written, and I'll share it with everyone so that we
Okay.
that and support that. That is so awesome.
Okay.
You,
Yes.
you've always been a trendsetter and a leader.
Oh, thank
You know,
you.
I've always loved working with you because your
Thank
creativity
you.
just flows.
Thank you.
And people just wait on you to do things because they know Soro's going to figure it out. So this is wonderful
How do you
news.
know?
Look, when we were in Paris and you were
Yeah,
like, you took over the show and
I
started
know, right?
directing, and it was like he was there to be one of the designers, and he took over the whole thing.
Wow.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
that was awesome. I'm glad to hear that everything is well, and it's like the normal that we knew. You are
Yes.
there in Burkina Faso, and that's
Yeah.
cool. New York is planning to open as of July 1st, like
I
officially.
can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah, and I'm back to work, so it's like, you know, I'm back to that normal.
Awesome. And you're glowing. You are beautiful. You're glowing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I wish I was in Africa. I miss Africa.
It's all good. It's all good. We're gonna get back on the road.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
definitely.
next time we go into the Caribbean. I can't wait to come to the Caribbean.
I can't wait to have
Oh
you.
my
Of
God.
course.
Angie, I need to get
course.
her size.
Yeah,
Angie,
she'll be
make
perfect.
sure I get her
Person model
measurement so we can
she's
send
so
her
beautiful.
something.
Yeah. I would
Yeah.
appreciate that. Oh my
Yes.
God.
And
Yes,
Isa,
yes, yes, yes. Yes.
Sasha makes wigs. Yeah, she's very,
Oh,
so she
Yeah.
amazing.
to collaborate with
Yeah.
you with some of the stuff, you know, when you need something done for the
Yeah.
model.
Okay. Sounds good. Sasha, I'm gonna get in touch with you. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that.
No
I like that.
problem.
I like that.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the story is amazing. It's exciting.
thank
Yeah.
It's
you.
joyful. I mean,
Thank you. Yes.
it's awesome news because I remember the first time, like when we had this interview, it's like we didn't even know where to go or how to deal with
I
it.
know,
You
right?
know?
It was a panic.
Yeah.
That's it. But
That's
Oh,
what I was
Jesus.
saying to Angie. It's like we were confused. This
Yes.
this
There was
thing
a
just
lot of
started
confusion.
happening, and we're still trying to
Yes.
figure it out. What's
Yes.
happening? What's
Yes.
COVID? You know,
Yes.
what's Corona? And
Yes.
it's awesome how we're here today celebrating 1 year already, and we're
yes.
still standing through the blood of Jesus. You know,
Man.
and none of us have been affected. It
Yes.
Yes.
has to be God grace that brought us
It
through.
is God. It
You
is
know,
God. It is
and
God.
he
It
gives
It
us
is
the
God.
mind to keep sane and to
Yes.
learn to improvise. And
Yes.
while we
Yes.
improvise, he
Yes.
provides.
Oh
You
my
know?
God.
Yeah.
He does so much.
And,
Mhm.
and being able to be a blessing in such a time and be an
Yeah.
inspiration, I think that is tremendous.
Yes,
Seriously.
it is.
Because a
It
lot of the
is.
designers I work with for like 3, 4, 5 months, nobody knew what to do. And we're like, you know
Wow.
what? We ain't giving up. We are
Yeah.
not gonna give up. And that's how
Yeah.
we came up with the name Fashion Alive, meaning regardless of the situation, regardless
Yeah.
what's gonna go on, we still gonna stand as fashion designers
Yeah.
and look at where we are today. It's just amazing. It's
Yeah.
mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
Seriously. And if it wasn't God,
Oh my God.
no. If it wasn't
Purpose
God,
can't die. Purpose
yes,
cannot die.
yes,
Purpose
yes, yes,
cannot
yes,
die. I mean,
yes. Hallelujah.
it's awesome. It's
It's
Yes,
so
yes,
awesome.
yes.
awesome. I'm so happy to hear about both of you doing amazing things, even amidst the pandemic, and how you all
Yes,
push forward and what you're doing, how you're encouraging others. Because we have to think about others when we
yes,
go forth and we think about others and what
Mm-hmm.
God always will provide for us. But
Yes.
to look after the others, to look after the poor, to look after the widowed,
Yeah.
those are the things that we needed to do. And just to see the beautiful transition. I mean, I know Sasha, you're here in the US now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Look at that. Where in the US are
Yeah.
you?
I'm in Miami.
Miami.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm on my way.
Yummy, yummy.
On my way. We gotta do something over there on the beach. On the
Yeah.
beach. Oh my
I
God.
miss my family sometimes. I really
Okay.
do.
Aw.
But it's just me and my son here, and my
Okay.
dad and my sister, my niece and my nephew, they're back home.
Okay.
My sister did not want to travel with them because of COVID.
Yeah.
And I got a new job offer, which
Oh,
God had, which God had made, the provision for me.
amen.
The transition, it was different because there are still people in Miami who did not want to wear a mask.
I know, right? It's crazy.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of it. Because y'all
And
saw
there
I'm
were
traveling.
people in Miami who is still going to parties, crowd downtown Miami
Yes.
all weekend. Nobody was
Oh
taking
my
it
God.
serious. The buses were crowded, the street, the stores. It was crazy. I got scared. I'm like, Jesus, these people, they don't take it serious. They don't take it serious until the governor decides to have a curfew. Because when
Okay.
I just got here, the COVID rate was going up. So many
I've seen it.
people,
I've seen it.
so many people were being affected by it. 1 years old, as young as 1 years old, were being affected by it
Oh my
because
God.
adults weren't wearing masks and sanitizing and social distancing and nothing. And the governor had to come in with a restriction and also had to have a curfew implemented.
Jesus.
And that was what kind of turned things down. And then
Yeah.
also closed down a lot of the stores downtown. And a lot of the parties were restricted, and that was what kind of helped to control the rate right now. But it was crazy when I just left home and came back here, because I was already used to Miami, but I've never lived in Miami. I was living in New York, but I was scared of going to New York because now I had my son with me. So I'm like, okay, it would be better if I stay put in Miami.
Right.
And coming from my country where the restriction and the rate was so low and everybody was, taking precaution in my country, when I got here to see how people were being careless, it was a big shocker for me.
Yes.
It was hard, and then afterwards, when I pray about it, ask the Lord to lead me and how I should go about my business, how I should go about work and stuff like that. And when the governor decided to implement the curfew and start charging people for not wearing masks and stuff like that, that was when, things changed a little and it helped me to cope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, wow. I mean, I think at one time I thought people were like cuckoo in Florida, Miami. Seriously.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to wear a mask, and I was like, what's going on?
But that's Atlanta too. That's Atlanta. That's Texas.
Really?
Yes. Yes. I don't know. Like people would rather party. Like they would rather risk to a
all
party
day, every day. And they're even sharing alcohol together.
Oh my God.
You have 5, 6 people drinking from one alcohol bottle.
I know. Crazy. And then you know what? A time when I would see that on TV, I was like, you know what? Let me be here for a minute. Let me stay in Africa for a minute. Seriously. Because I'm like, wow, you would never ever see that anywhere here. Seriously. People were not doing that. You're not allowed to do that. Africa has been going through a lot. So the minute they were like, you got to wash your hands, keep your distance, wear your mask and everything,
they're
people were
willing to do it.
Yeah, they were willing to do it because we've seen a lot. We've been
It's
through
the
a lot.
same thing. It's
You
the
know?
same thing with Jamaica. It's the same thing with Jamaica. Jamaica was willing to cooperate. Jamaica was willing, you know, it's a small island, and they were willing to do whatever it takes to keep everybody alive.
Yes.
So
Yes.
when I left that and understand that, okay, you're only allowed to go to work like 9 in the morning and be back home by 4, and you stay home. And if you're going to the grocery store, only 10 persons at a time. But when I got here, the gush of people with no mask, no sanitizer, no social distancing, it was like a gig spinning in my head.
Yes. Well, it's a respect issue. It's a big respect issue because overseas, there's a certain level of respect that is still there, even from, I would say, like my parents' time. And honestly, as an born American citizen, sometimes I'm embarrassed at the behavior that I see in America, but not just as America as a whole, but especially Black America. Because watch things in behaviors, and we've been through so much over this past year. Like when I'm traveling, I'm watching the behavior. Like if somebody today, I was on the plane and the girl gets up while the pilot is saying, "Please, everyone remain seated until we park." She gets up to try to go to the bathroom, and the flight attendant says, "Sit down." So now she's making noise on the plane.
Oh my God.
She sit down. I need to go to the bathroom, and she's just going on. It's a safety issue. If they slam the brakes while the plane is still in motion, they slam the brakes and you slide down. Now you're injured.
And then she's gonna want to do a lawsuit.
Right. And I said to her, I said, "Sis, I'm not trying to get in your business," but maybe she just didn't understand, because then it goes to, "Oh, they did that because I'm Black. They did that." You know?
Yes, exactly.
Oh my God. Sometimes I wonder if people are using, I hate it. I hate it so much.
That was just a safety thing. They didn't want you to get hurt. She said, well, 2 seconds later, everyone stood up. I said, yeah. 2 seconds later, when they officially put the brake on and they said, now you can take off your seatbelts, that was the time to get up. There's just a level of ignorance that I just can't deal with it. God bless you. I pray you remain safe. But if that simple thing, she can't obey to just stay put for a couple more minutes. Imagine all the people that's been told wear a mask, wash your hands, all of this stuff. That's why the numbers were going so crazy, because they just don't. But it's normally the people, the American people. The other people are like, okay, well, you come from other countries where there's respect. They've been used to having some kind of restrictions. I think we've been just really, really free in the country, and we have this kind of mentality like, I don't have to do that. I do what I want,
And that's sad. That's sad. And the reason why it's sad, because you're not only affecting yourself, but you're affecting other people as well. Because you have people who were on the bus, because I had to take the public transportation, refused to wear a mask, and they're coughing all over you.
Right.
I mean, I thought I was gonna lose my mind.
I wouldn't get enough.
This would never happen in my country. This would never happen in my country. They would have thrown that person off the bus. A matter of fact, if you leave your house without a mask, you're being arrested and you're being charged.
That's it.
You're in Africa.
Interesting. But guys, I'm looking at the time and I want to be mindful of y'all's time. I'm enjoying this conversation. But I do want to be mindful of the time. I wanted to ask you all if you give any advice, any words of encouragement to other people, because we see how you all overcame your situation. So maybe there's something that you want to say that might touch the hearts and the minds of someone who's watching right now, who may be trying to figure things out. So, Sora?
Sasha, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I would definitely encourage somebody to keep your faith alive. It's important. It's so, so important to keep your faith alive. Keep your prior life alive. And listen, I want to tell somebody, there is nothing you can't live without. There's only one person you can't live without, and that's Jesus Christ. Because one thing I've learned through this whole situation is that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and everything will be added unto you. You know, it might not go the way you think it should have gone, but after you've been through the roller coaster, and I've had so many losses, I've had so many blows, I've had so many tears. If I was to store up my tears, it would have been more than it would. I would have drowned in my tears.
Okay.
Because it was so much, like losing my mom, then after losing my mom, I felt like I was, you know, fighting with what's happening in the world. Where do I go from here? How do I figure this out? How do I get over this? You know, it was so much. But then I had to take a step back and said to myself, Sasha, you cannot do this on your own. You're not able to just do this by yourself. You have to go where your faith lies. And allowing that process of faith in Jesus Christ to come alive in me, that's when his hands come down and start working in my life. Like helping me to give to somebody and not just think of myself. Helping me to go out and share what I have and not just keep it in my storeroom. You know, that's a big change. So keep your faith alive, keep your prior life alive, and don't be mean. Don't be mean. Share. If it's even a kind word, check upon the people you love. Call somebody to just talk about what happened today. Ask them how you're doing, because sometimes you never know who is going through a mental breakdown. You never know who just want to have somebody just to listen to you, just to say, I hear you, you're talking, just to acknowledge them. You know what I mean? So, you know, and a open mind is very good as well, with a grateful heart. So that's a few things I have to say.
Okay.
Amen. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Well, she said it all. Yeah, she said it all. I mean, when you put God first, which is what she did, you know, then everything just falls into place, you know.
Yeah.
So I would say the same thing. Keep your faith alive, put God first, and follow instructions. There's no superhero, no Superman. Nobody's above the rules, the laws, and everything, you know.
Right.
And it's wisdom from God to follow instructions, you know. This is how you can make it. And a lot of people are still living in places where the pandemic is getting worse every day, you know, and they have to keep up with instructions. If they don't follow instructions, it's just gonna keep getting worse. I don't know if you're following the news, but India and Brazil, it's like worse, like never before, you know.
Yeah.
So they have to follow instruction and believe in God. Seriously.
That's it. Amen. Thank you both for that.
Amen.
I'm just gonna to say, just to piggyback a little bit, India, you just spoke about India. India is really bad. I was expecting Drew to try to join us today, the guy that was also on with you all.
Yeah.
Show.
How's he doing?
They're doing well now. His family, they all contracted COVID. They were down for about 16 days, but they stayed home and they did natural remedies, and they are all doing better now. So
Good.
time zone is difficult for him for the time zone, so I didn't think he could make it, but I did invite him today. So we'll try to catch up with him at another time. Maybe I'll do a broadcast at a special time just so we can include him, because I definitely wanted to hear what was going on in India. I spoke to him because I saw the videos, like where they were burning bodies in the street, because it's so many. They have to just get rid of the bodies. He said the situation is terrible. It's really terrible there. So please keep India and Brazil both in your prayers.
Wow.
I have a friend in Brazil, but they don't speak English well enough that they would come.
Yeah.
But they did tell me that the situation is also really bad there. So we want to just keep everyone in our prayers that's being affected by COVID anyway. But their situations are really, really bad. So we are thinking about Drew and his family, the same family. I love you guys. Please stay strong. I will continue to pray for you all. And I always like to lead with the Bible verse. So I have, it's actually a couple of verses, but it's about faith and it kind of touches on a little what we were speaking about. So I'm going to just read this here before we go. This is James 1, and I'm reading from verses 2 through 4. It says, "Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So
Amen.
it grow. For when endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing."
Amen.
Word with you all.
Wow.
Continue to
Amen.
grow. Count it all joy, even when we see the situation is bad. You know, God,
Mhm.
He has a plan and a purpose for each one of our lives.
Yeah.
I love you guys. I thank you both for joining me today.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
Yeah.
You are two of my favorite people, and so we had a chance to reconnect here and just give an update, which is a good news update instead of a bad news update, because we hear enough
Yeah.
news.
Yeah.
And continue to stay safe. Keep pursuing all of those wonderful endeavors. Please share with me anything that you have coming up, because I want to make sure that I share it to the audience. Please support these guys and what they're doing. Send me the information for the
We
catalog,
do.
how we can go on. You said Fashion Alive, but just text it to me so I get
I
it,
will.
because
I
I
will. I'll send you the link.
want to
I'll send
definitely
you the
share
link
it
of the
properly.
page.
Okay, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, and get all the people and your friends and family, get them to get on the page and see some good things about Africa.
Yes, I love it. We love
Yeah.
you, Miss Africa. I'm working on some plans to get back to Africa,
Can't
but
wait to go there. I ain't never
I
been
know,
there
Sasha.
before.
Can't wait to
I
have you over
can't
here.
wait.
yes,
I'm sure to
we
tell you
need to
the
have
food is great. The food is fresh every day. There's no frozen
Wow.
food.
every
We
day.
don't do frozen food here. We go to the market every day, get some fresh food, and then,
Yes,
then everything is, I mean, it's amazing. She will let you know. She told
Yeah,
me
it's
many
like my
times.
country. We
yes,
get fresh
Yeah,
food
I
every
love it.
day.
every day,
Every
every
day.
day,
Yeah.
every day.
It's funny. Speaking
Okay.
on traveling, next week I'm gonna have one of my Facebook friends. His name is Mike Bigger, and he's a travel agent. So his
Okay.
agency is bbttours and excursions.com. He's going to be joining us next week to talk about travel. Amidst the pandemic, as the world's opening back up and people want to get back.
Mhm.
Okay.
There's a lot of restrictions. There's a lot of things you need to do, but travel still lives. So we're going to talk to Mike Bigger next week. So guys, please tune in for that. It'll be Sunday
Definitely.
here on COVID-19 and Company, straight from the COVID-19 page, or you can check it out on my personal page on Angiera Marie on Facebook.com. So quick shout outs before we go. I want to shout out to Careworthy and Hot Wax Promotions and the Organization of Black Designers, huge supporters of the show. Also to Tangi Watts, publicist extraordinaire in Charlotte, North Carolina. Generation Next Realty and Carrot Omni Media, and also the Empowered Lifestyle Radio Show. I thank them for offering this platform that I can bring this show to you here on Zoom and through Facebook Live. You can check out the Empowered Lifestyle Radio Show Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. on WPCE, WPCL in Hampton Roads, Virginia area, Norfolk in that area. Also on WBXB in Charlotte, North Carolina. And Gloria Wong, my makeup sponsor, shout out to her. Toya Nicole, also known as Cola the Model, big supporter. And K Diamond Braided Wigs. I am wearing this beautiful wig from K Diamond Braided Wigs.
It's beautiful.
Katie Rose, thank you. I love it, love the colors, and I got a little baby hair, all that good stuff. So if you want to get a wig, you can check out Katie Rose for braided wigs. You can check out my girl Sasha Gray Morse for
Yeah.
wigs, the non-braided wigs. So definitely link up with Sasha for that. But for braided wigs, Miss Katie Rose, you can follow her on Instagram or on Facebook, Miss Katie Sy, Khady space SY. And also, I want to just shout out Primitive Art. You see the painting behind me, my beautiful background here. Thank you to Primitive Art for my decorations and designs.
It's nice.
The beautiful piece like that, just DM me. They're for sale, and you'll get some more pieces coming soon. So thank you all for watching. To my audience, thank you for being with me this whole 1 year. We've been a long way, and we've been and we've had a lot of wonderful guests, and I thank you for being with me and joining me on the show and rolling with me through the transitions. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again next Sunday, 7 p.m. right here on Facebook Live. You've been watching COVID-19 and Company, conversations from the epicenter across the globe with your girl, Angiera Marie, signing off. Toodles for now.
Congratulations, Angie.